Well, hello, hello. Welcome to Quilt Conversations Live. I'm Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter. We're going to talk about machine quilting and, in particular, a machine quilting plan. How do we create a machine quilting plan? Do you, like me, sometimes panic when it's time to quilt the top that you just finished? You've been working for weeks and maybe even months carefully piecing your quilt top. And if you are a DIY quilter like me and you quilt your own quilt tops, do you panic? Do you say, oh no, what am I going to do? How am I going to quilt it? Do you think about what skills you have, what skills you're learning, free motion quilting and ruler quilting? Do you think, well, maybe I'll do what I did last time because I know that it works. But you want to try something new. How do you go about trying something new? Maybe you have an idea. It's a theme quilt and you want to continue that theme in the quilting. How do you get started? Well, let's talk about it. Ladies, it's so good to be with you. I know it's been a while. I'm having a hard time getting used to this once a month Quilt Conversations live. What about you? Hello, Kim. And Lori is here, and Cassie. So glad you're here, ladies. I've missed you all. And Jacqueline is here. And we're trying something new. Many of you know that there is a Quilt Conversations Live membership. And so several ladies are in the membership. It's a monthly membership where we meet once a month. We're going to do a quilt along. But I also included, which the ladies were happy about, a watch party. Lori made a comment inside the YouTube chat about Jacqueline, who's a member. You have the option of joining the Zoom watch party. So the members are right now in a Zoom call with their videos on, chatting it up before the show for about a half hour. And now they are watching Quilt Conversations live together. It's a watch party. So if you hear that phrase, are you in the watch party? That's what we're talking about. The Quilt Conversations live membership now has a watch party, and I'm excited. This is the first time. So if we have some technical problems, this is a test. Can I go live on Facebook, on YouTube, and in Zoom at the same time? And so far, it's working. At least I think it is. No one has said it isn't working. Lori says party. I agree, Lori. It is a party. Hey, who else is here that I didn't say hello to? I think I got everyone. Lori, Jackie, Wilda, Cassie, Kim, welcome, ladies. Well, I want to get started talking about some of the challenges we have when we go from a quilt top to actually quilting. And I want to see what challenges you specifically have. And we're going to do that by playing bingo. We haven't played bingo in a long time. If you're new here, you've never played quilt bingo, it's really easy. All you need is a piece of paper and a pencil. Piece of paper and a pencil. Get a piece of paper and draw 3 lines horizontal and then 3 lines vertical. Then you're going to have a 4x4 grid. And we're going to play bingo. When you have this and you are ready, let me know in the chat by saying ready. Once I reveal the bingo card, you're going to put an X for everything that applies. One by one, the squares are going to be revealed. There'll be a black square on top of it. That square will disappear, and you will say, yes, I have that challenge with machine quilting. So we can talk about how we can move forward in conquering those challenges. Because maybe not only me, but our other quilting friends here at Quilt Conversations Live have a tip for you to help you continue in your machine quilting journey, to have success in it. All right, I'm going to check the chat. Let's see who is ready. Ready, ready, ready. Wilda is ready. Yeah, so Jacqueline, I think you registered for this on our membership page. All you have to do is go to the membership page and scroll down to watch party if you haven't registered, and you can join the Zoom. And I'll let you in because I'm sure the other ladies would love to see you. All right. Sheila is ready. All right, all right. Okay. So here we go. This is how we're going to talk about or begin to talk about having a plan for machine quilting by playing bingo and talking about some of the challenges that we face. So here we go. Machine quilting challenges. As the square is revealed, you're going to put an X if you experience this challenge. Are you ruler quilting and the ruler keeps sliding while you're quilting and then messing up your stitching design? Do you have a problem with sliding rulers? What about when you're doing free motion quilting, your starts and stops? Are you stitching too much in one place? Or are you getting a little zigzag every time you start? What about your quilting machine? Do you know how to use your machine for quilting? Do you have a ruler foot, but you really don't know how to use it yet? What about basting your quilt? I know that I started with pins. I used like 100 pins. Then I went to fusible batting. Now I spray baste. What type of batting do you use and why do you use it? Do you need to learn more about batting? Do you have a problem with bearding, meaning the batting comes through the fabric? What about your fabric prep? Have you developed a systematic way to get beautiful results when you cut your fabric because you've prepared your fabric, or do you still have problems with piecing and wonky blocks because your fabric is stretching? Does your fabric move too much when you're quilting and then you get puckers? What about free motion quilting patterns? Do you only have one pattern, meandering? Do you have maybe meander with flowers? Maybe you want more patterns, and that's something that's a challenge for you. What about quilting large quilts? Large quilts, and you have a small machine. How do you get beyond that? How do you manage a large quilt? So you're putting an X wherever you are having a challenge. What about stitch length? My machines, home machines, do not have stitch regulation, and therefore my stitch length isn't always consistent. So in the beginning, especially if I haven't been practicing, I have challenges with it. How do we conquer that? And thread. Do you know what machine quilting thread you want to use? Do you know what weight, what color? How do you choose the thread? Do you still have a challenge with that? Let us know by putting an X who has bingo. Now, my desire is that you don't have any of these challenges. So if you have a clear card because you have no challenges with any of these, that would be wonderful. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Hey, Marcia, so glad that you're here. I think Lori can put in the chat the link. Maybe I can find it too. You can just go to the home page, which I think it's at the top of the chat on YouTube, Marcia. There's a link at the very top pinned to my website homepage. And once you go there on the home page, you'll see how to become a member. Just scroll down and you'll see the membership link. Thank you, Lori. Got it. Awesome. So no one has said bingo yet. Oh, sorry, Kim. There you go. Bingo. Yes. All right. Thank you. Kim had bingo. Awesome. Well, it is and it isn't awesome, right? Because these are challenges. But through challenges, we get answers, we test different things, we learn different things, and we learn things about ourselves that help us become better quilters, right? So let me know just in the chat from the bingo card, just make a comment. Which of the things that you put an X on that you have a challenge with are you wanting to get better at? Just give a couple of words. You can just say free motion quilting, or you could say, I want to get better at basting my quilt, or I want to improve my thread selection. Just put anything in the chat to let us know what you would like help with. And maybe others could say, hey, I have this idea. There's this one batting that I love that gives me beautiful results every single time I use it. All right, let us know in the chat. I have been putting together a course that's called Pathways. It's a drunkard's path. You see the quilt right behind me. That's a very old quilt yet popular quilt. Every time I share it on socials, ladies want to know, hey, do you have a pattern for that? So I'm finally writing the pattern. And when I thought about it, I thought about my Quilt Conversations Live members and those who are taking free motion quilting and um, other free motion quilting courses, the alphabet course on my website. I like to check in with students. And the way I check in is by offering a free event, a free tutorial or free, and we gather in Zoom. It's live and I teach on some topic. Last year it was about machine setup. This year it's about making a quilting plan. So I have to multitask. Are you a multitasker? I am. Kim says she wants a long arm so much. Long arms are wonderful. Once we get one, there's such a big difference in how we quilt our projects. So I'm right with you there. So Kim also says that basting is a nightmare, lack of space. Yes, for larger quilts, it can be challenging. I used 2 6-foot tables. I based outside because I use spray. Yeah, it's very challenging. I don't look forward to it. The Drunkard's Path has a song about that. Okay. The Drunkard, the Irish have a song about that. Okay. That's interesting, Marcia. So, because I'm a multitasker, I said, one, I want to conquer curves. If you were here not too long ago, I talked about wanting to conquer curves. So I remembered this quilt. So I said, okay, one, people have been asking for the pattern. I need to practice my curve piecing. I want to help my free motion quilting students, remind them to go through the alphabet course, remind them that to keep practicing. And so I said, let me put together something where we all benefit, and that's with the Pathways quilt. So we have been meeting once a week since the beginning of February. Last night was week number 3. We have one more week left. But as I've been doing it, I've been putting together a full course from beginning to end for the Pathways quilt. Now, of course, I like to keep things interesting. This is the original Pathways quilt. And this was an exercise for me to practice, to learn how to place designs in the quilt, to practice using wool batting and 2 layers of batting. Learning, how to add ruler quilting and free motion quilting with one template. Well, I use 2 templates, not 1, 2. But Also, simple free motion quilting designs. The free motion quilting is all meander. Everything else is ruler quilted. So I said, let me take this popular quilt and just change it up a little bit. How can I change it up? This is what some of the quilting looks like, and it looks like it's challenging until you have a plan. And so that's what we've been going through. We've been going through step by step. I've been showing them my process, and I want to share that with you. And here's why. I remember as a young photographer that I would go and listen to a speaker, and I would admire the beautiful photographs. Like when we go to a quilt show, we see these beautiful quilts, and we can be inspired, but we can also be reminded of the things that we want to learn, the things that we want to improve at. We want to get better at free motion quilting. We want to get better at picking fabric. There's so many things to learn, right? So I would go to these lectures, and I promised the last lecture that I went to, where I saw all these wonderful photos as a photographer, made a promise to myself that I would not attend those. I would only attend if it included a workshop. I wanted to invest in my skill. I was willing to pay extra because I admire the photographer, but I want to know how they got the photo. What camera did they use? What settings? How long did they wait to get that photograph? I don't remember if I told you this story about a story I did for the newspaper when I was working at the Los Angeles Times. I had to get a photograph of a bird that swims and gets fish and then eats the fish. So these birds, which are protected, they can't be harmed or killed. They figured out that this lake, man-made lake, that was stocked regularly with fish, they actually put fish in it so that fishermen can come and fish. But they did not realize that the birds were smart, and they said, hey, this is a ready, continuous supply of food. And so they made nests in the trees around the lake, and they had a ready supply of food. And so the company that had the man-made lake, they were upset because these birds were eating the fish, their money, their profit, right? So this is the story. I had to go and take photos of the fishermen, etc., etc. But my editor said, you must go and get a photo of the bird eating a fish, right? So I went early in the morning, I went in the afternoon, breakfast, lunch, dinner. I went at different times. I stayed for an hour. I went. Those are the processes, the steps that I took to try and get this one shot. I kept doing different things, different equipment, different lenses. So when I went to these conferences, I wanted to know how this photographer that created beautiful images, how did they do it? And that's what I think we do when we go to a quilt show. We say, how did they do it? And so that's what I've been sharing the last 3 weeks is my process. And I've been using the Ultimate Machine Quilting Planner, a guide to help us document our process. It's kind of like a training wheels, like a tricycle, right? Training wheels so that we can develop our own techniques and styles to get the results that we want. So I think that is, do you agree that that is a good way? You could admire a quilter, but you want to know, wait, how did they do that? What tool are they using? What technique? How did they get that star in the quilt? What did they use? Was it by hand? Did they hand stitch? Did they machine stitch the sashiko? or did they do it by hand? We want to learn that. So, with the Pathways quilt, I redesigned it. So, I have now two designs for the Pathways, and this is the one that I've been sharing step by step with the ladies that I want to share with you through a course. One, you make the drunkard's path block. You design the quilt the same way I did, or you can change the configuration. It's up to you. The whole idea is to piece the quilt and then make decisions about batting, about thread, about how you're going to stabilize the quilt. I talked about all of that and what thread I used to stabilize. And this is the planner. It's the idea is to help you learn how to create a machine quilting plan that leads to success, to consistent results. Now, in the beginning, like anything else, when you're learning the alphabet, right, you have to practice the technique. And so, this is what you're seeing now. These are designs that I practice that are going to be in the course ahead of time before I put them in the quilt. I audition them. One, can I actually stitch it? And how can I stitch it? Free motion or ruler quilting? Do I like the design? How hard or easy is it to stitch? How many of us have started quilting a project only to regret the pattern that we stitched in it? I'll raise my hand first. Bring out the seam ripper, right? I have done that. And so I like to actually plan. So I created this planner, not just for me, but mainly for you, because we all need some help, some guidance. Hey, welcome, welcome. So glad that you're here. Now, do we have to do these steps all the time? Yes and no, right? If we take the time to create the plan, one, what's the story behind the quilt? In this case, I chose a particular story, and from that, I did a search on that topic and I got some inspiration. And so now I am mapping out different star designs based on that inspiration. Can I include them in the quilt? Where can I put them in the quilt? Free motion stars, ruler quilting stars, right? Then once I practice with paper, I've always said practice, practice, practice. You put it on paper, you practice on a quilt sandwich. Can I stitch a shooting star? Can I stitch an orbit or an orb? I practice. I go to my machine and practice. And once I do that, then I take it to the real quilt, which is what you see here. This is the Pathways quilt. And I mapped it all out using the planner. It makes a difference. I'm not guessing, oh, is it going to turn out? I know I can stitch it. I've practiced. I created a stitching plan and path. I know exactly how I'm going to stitch it. I create stencils. Now, do we have to do this every single time? The answer is no, right? Just think back to grade school when we were learning something new, we had training wheels. And eventually, we didn't need the training wheels. So if you build this muscle of planning, that muscle is going to get stronger. Plus, you're going to build a library, a physical library of quilt sandwiches that you already know. I know how to stitch a shooting star. I know how to use this ruler. I know how to do echo quilting. I can do free motion quilting stars because I've practiced it, I've stitched it, and you stitched it with a certain type of batting, a certain type of technique, and you are developing multiple skills at one time. That's how it works. But if we don't do the work, excuse me, it's not going to happen, right? We'll get frustrated every single time we attempt to quilt a project. Please let me know and be honest. Every time you finish a quilt top and it's time to quilt it, do you feel like, oh no, how am I going to quilt this? And because you're nervous about ruining the quilt with the wrong stitching design, you default to the same thing you've done and you do it over and over again. Excuse me. But I'm hoping that this planner will inspire you to break free from that, right? Break free. Now, the other thing that I do is that even before I start to stitch out the patterns, even though I've practiced, I said this before in other Quilt Conversations Live, I will practice on an extra block or an orphan block, right? With the same fabric and the same thread. So now I am auditioning the fabric, the thread choice, all in the quilt design because I have an extra block. I have additional fabric. I can put a border around so I can actually see, yes, this plan is going to work. So, of course, because I'm practicing my curve stitching, right? My curve piecing, and I would like to say I'm getting better. I didn't feel like it. I really struggled through piecing these drunkard paths block. But I'm not going to give up, right? I'm going to keep at it and I will get better. I made so many blocks because I've messed up so many times. I had some that were halfway decent, but I had to trim them down from 4 inches to 3.5. So I put them together and I made a runner. I put a border on it and I said, I'm going to use this to preview my designs for the full quilt. I'll do it in the runner. This will be a trial run. Is it a waste of time or fabric or effort? And I'm going to tell you, no, it is not. Because in doing so, I learned multiple things. I learned what I didn't like, what didn't work. I learned that I needed to use a different template. A small runner is different than a big quilt, the scale of it, right? Will the same pattern work small that it does big? And if not, what do I have to change? So that is one of the things that I practice is by using an orphan block or using extra blocks, I get a chance to preview my decisions. I've practiced on paper. I figured out what designs I want. I'm going to now put this in a practice runner or quilt block. Do I like my choices? And if I don't, I can change my mind before I go to the quilt. And at the same time, I am building my skills. I'm building also my confidence. Would you agree that that is happening? Aw, Marsha, you're so sweet. You are welcome. I'm glad that this is inspiring. Marsha likes the pattern. Thank you. I'm glad you like it. Now, for me, I love all this thread texture. I chose one color thread, but I find after looking at it, I think, well, did I put too much quilting on it? What would I change? And, I'm honest with myself about it. If I really don't like something, overall, I like the result. But I will go back and I will make adjustments in the final quilt. So this is the process. It's step by step by step. We don't write a novel when we're only learning the alphabet, right? Think about if you've ever tried to learn another language, it's very challenging. We don't get all the different phrases and the grammar and other things that embody a language. The same thing with quilting. It's step by step by step, but we need help, right? We need training wheels. And that is why I put together this course and the planner, the ultimate quilting planner. A lot of you ladies have that. That was, I think, either my Black Friday sale or something. When was it? Black Friday or Christmas sale at the end of last year. And if you don't have that planner, it has 30 pages in it. Let me see if I can find it for you so you can see what it looks like. I think I put it here with the bingo. Yeah, there it is. So here's the planner. The planner is going to be included with the course. Okay, so just know that you'll get the planner, but if you don't think you want the course, you can also get the planner separately. It's digital. You print whatever page you need specific to the project. And it's called a smart planner because we want very specific and measurable and attainable and relevant and time-based goals for our quilt projects. You decide whether or not you want to have daily goals, weekly goals, monthly. This is not only a planner to help you plan the quilting of a quilt, it's a planner for all things quilting. If you want to improve a technique, applique, curve piecing like me, you decide, let me map it out. So you print out whatever pages you need for the specific project or goal that you want to get very, very focused on. There's a mapping of your quilting plan. There's a map for your walking foot quilting. There's a map for your free motion quilting, your ruler quilting. And then there's a blank page where you can fill in whatever you want. And then you saw the demonstration, right, of how I use the different pages to put in designs. These designs will then stay with your project. Here's my For the Pathways quilt. I have my pages that I've used with my notes and my practice. Here's my shooting star practice. It also shows my stitching path. So when I'm actually stitching at the machine, I have this right by my machine and it tells me start here. Whoops, go this way. Start here, go here. I have specific arrows and numbers to tell me how I'm going to stitch it. I've practiced my free motion quilting. I have the two designs here. My ruler quilting designs with my notes where I'm going to put this specific design, step by step by step. Once we create these, we have them for the project, but we also have them for future projects, right? So that's the planner. Now, one thing that often will hinder our progress is not only not the lack of inspiration, but how do we go from inspiration to actually putting it into a quilting plan? How do we look for designs that work with ruler quilting or that work with free motion? And this is what we've been talking about for the last 3 weeks in the free class that I've been doing for those that are in the alphabet course, the quilters canvas course. Anyone that is taking a free motion quilting class with me, an online class, had free access to this entire process. And I know some of them, like Lori, were taking notes and Sheila's taking notes. These ladies are serious about conquering some of the quilting challenges that we talked about earlier. And so I want to help with that. So I always give at least one free private session with those students. And I'm glad to do it because it's my desire for us to win and at quilting, to be successful, to enjoy it, not be frustrated because we can't get the results that we want. So, any questions about this? Oh, thank you, Lori, for putting up the planner. It is accessible on my homepage. You just go there and you click under shop. Did Rochelle join us? Hey, Rochelle, so glad that you're here. She's also in the alphabet course. Um, Thank you, ladies, for giving me a chance to talk with you about this. Now, I want to give you some updates about other things that have been going on because it's been what 4 weeks or more. I think we had more Fridays in the month, so it might be 5 weeks since we were together. The virtual classes have been fantastic. If you've missed any of the virtual classes, there are more coming. So just go again to the homepage, click for virtual events. The next one is the improv ruler quilting class. Some of you ladies have already taken it, and if you noticed in the Pathways quilt, I am incorporating some of the techniques from the improv class. You can see the echo quilting that was around the star, very similar to the improv. That's coming up March 8th. Included in the improv class is a free class, machine setup for ruler quilting. You automatically get that class included when you take the improv class. So just go check that out. The monthly virtual classes. When you go to that page, you're going to see multiple classes. Whichever one you're interested in, just get on the list. When I have enough ladies to actually schedule a class, then you'll get notified specific to that class. So get on the list, but because if I don't have enough ladies, then I'm not going to schedule it. So just get your name on the list. Then we had a fantastic class with the let's see if I can find it. The Sea and Sky Strata. That was so fun. We really had a great time coloring with pencils that when you put water on it, it ignites and it becomes this vibrant color that you see here. It starts off just like this. We're coloring with pencils. I show you all kinds of techniques, and you keep coloring, and then you put water on it and create a beautiful strata of color. So we did that for this month. That was the virtual class for this month, and it's coming back because so many ladies wanted to sign up, but the scheduling didn't work, and they are ready to sign up. I'm going to offer it in May. What else happened since we've been together? The peaceful portrait class also happened at the front between now and the last time we met. And that is coming, the peaceful portrait is coming in April. That's also a virtual class that you can take. All of these are meant to inspire you, to help you continue to grow in your quilting, in your creativity. So again, just go on the list. If you haven't already, go check out the list of virtual monthly classes. I can't wait to see some of you in those classes. We really have a fun time. And as many of you already know who have been in these classes, know that they are jam-packed with all kinds of tips and techniques to help you, not only in that particular class, but to help you as a quilter all the way around. Okay? So lots and lots and lots of resources for you. And if you are interested in working with the quilting, Ultimate Quilting Planner, Machine Quilting Planner, and following the journey of the pathway quilt from batting to thread to quilt stabilization to finding through the internet search, how do I quilt this finding a story. I picked a particular storyline, excuse me, and from that storyline, I found ideas. Then I show you how I translate those ideas into quilting patterns with free motion quilting and ruler quilting, step by step by step. Then we do a practice runner. We transfer designs that we've practiced on paper, that we were inspired by. If you are interested in that whole process, to go through that with me in the course, all you have to do is sign up. Sign up for, let's see if I can get this to go right. All right, up here. All right, try this again. There we go. All right. So, again, all you need to do is let me know you're interested. Use the QR code, scan the QR code. It'll take you to a page where you can put in your email to say, yes, I want that kind of help. I want to know how you make your quilts, how you pick designs, how you pick batting, how you stabilize the quilt. I want to learn those things step by step by step. It's one thing to see some of my quilts or any other quilters and say, oh, I love that. And then you don't know how to replicate it or how even to begin. Well, you can get help with that, and I want to help you. So that course will be released sometime in March, but I wanted to let you know that it's possible now to get on the list so that you get early access to the course, okay? Scan that. I think I have a link for that. Let me see if I got a link that we can put in if you can't scan it. Let me get that really quick. I thought I had it ready. Let's see. It's going to take me a minute or two to get that. Okay, one more time. Almost there. Okay. All right, so let me see if I can paste that into YouTube over here. All right, yep, there we go, on YouTube. There's the link, and I'll do it on Facebook. All right, so ladies, it's been fantastic. Let me know if you have any questions about some of the challenges that you have with creating a machine quilting plan. Would it help you to use a planner, or is that too much planning for you? In the beginning, everything that at least I do in the beginning, it's challenging. It's like following our first quilt pattern, following the instructions the first time. It can be challenging, but now that we've have our first quilt under our belt, we know a little bit more about 1/4 inch seam allowance. We know a little bit more about our machine settings, how to piece different types of patterns. We have more confidence. We're not as leery as we once were when it comes to piecing because we've been doing it over and over again. And that's what it takes with machine quilting. We have to do it over and over again. But if we do it in a random way, we're not building a specific skill. And as a result, every single time we go back, it's like starting over. So that's what the machine quilting planner will do. It will help you create a system for choosing your batting, your thread, and get consistent results. I don't like to use a seam ripper. I don't know about you, but I don't like to use a seam ripper. So that's my desire, is for you to get consistent results. And the only way to do that is to learn techniques, to do those techniques over and over until they become a habit where you don't even think about it. You just go on autopilot. But in the beginning, we need those training wheels. The last thing that I wanted to share with you that I'm very excited about, completely different topic, ladies, completely different topic. How do you find inspiration for choosing colors? Do you use a photograph? Do you just have a favorite color that's the color that's in all of your quilts? Or do you just go to the fabric store and see whatever you like, or you just buy a bundle that has all the fabrics all picked out for you? What if I told you, maybe you know this already, that you can use a photograph for inspiration? You can use any photograph. You can go to a botanical garden, take beautiful photos of, say, I don't know, orchids, if that's your favorite flower, or lilies, and you can use that photograph for color inspiration for your fabric choices, your thread choices, your project choices. But how do you pull out those colors? How do you get those colors? Well, I created a Canva course that's only $10 that you can learn how to choose your color palettes from a photograph. I show you step by step to get the colors so that you can replicate the beauty that's already in nature. If you don't have a Canva account, I show you how to set up an account. And the account is free. Free, free, free. Free Canva account. I've been using Canva for years. Anytime you see any graphic, whether it's my thumbnails on YouTube or other things, most likely I used Canva. So not only will you use it to get a color palette from a photograph, but you can also use it for a lot of things. It's not hard to do. And I want you to be able to do that. For fabric, color, and design, use a photograph to get your color palette. Once you do that, you just download it to your computer or your phone, because there's a Canva phone app, mobile app. You take it to the store and then you can get the colors that you want. Or if you're shopping online, you'll be able to get the specific colors from Canva to help you pick the colors for your project. So that's something new that I thought I'd put together. This is something I originally put together for the Sea and Sky Strata class, but I thought, why not share that with everyone? So those of you who took the Sea and Sky Strata, or you plan to take it, you will have this inside the course. So don't get it if you plan to take the Sea and Sky Strata. You won't need it because it'll be included in the Sea and Sky Strata virtual course. But if you don't plan to take that, then just come, scan the QR code, and learn how to get color inspiration from a photograph. You get a full palette. All right. This is supposed to be behind. There we go. All right, ladies, I shared a lot today because we haven't been together for over a month, and we won't meet again till when? The third Friday in March. We're only doing one live show a month. I'm so glad that you came. I hope that you learned something. I hope that you've been inspired to take your machine quilting to the next level. Thank you for coming. Let me know if you have any questions, if you want to know anything about the membership. We would love you to join the Quilt Conversations live membership. Lori already put that information in the chat on YouTube. Send me an email. I can't wait to see you in an online class in a virtual class or here again at Quilt Conversations Live. And don't keep it a secret. I love to help quilters, and I do that in many ways: in person events, online courses, memberships, free events. It's my desire to help you. So, not only help you, but help your friends too. So, don't keep it a secret. Let your friends know. If you're not a subscriber or a follower on YouTube or other social media, say thank you by subscribing to the channel. Give it the video a thumbs up, and of course hit the notification bell so every time I upload a video or go live, you'll be notified. All right, ladies, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful couple of weeks coming up. So glad that you were able to join me. And oh, I have several interviews coming up. March the third Friday, I'll be interviewing someone about community quilts. April, there's another interview coming up, and that is going to be someone who is well known with quilting coats. So be here for that. And in May, we're going to have someone that I'm going to interview about foundation paper piecing. So 3 back-to-back interviews: community quilts, quilting a coat, how you make a coat, an expert on that, and then foundation paper piecing. 3 amazing quilters that have something to share with you. So come back to Quilt Conversations Live. Yay! Thanks, Marsha. So glad that you were here. Thank you, Cassie, Lori. I'll see you next time for another Quilt Conversations Live.